Good morning. Hello, everyone. We're running in the shadows of daylight. Welcome to Cross Chain Coalition Future Proof. Today is November 15th, and I ask everyone, if you're listening, to please make sure you know where your 10 billion is. If you've lost 10 billion today, it's most likely because you didn't keep your eye on your 10 billion. So always know where your last 10 billion is.
It's in my couch. It's in my couch. I have a very, very big couch.
I was just going to say, we want proof of this couch. We heard stories that this couch was partially owned by you or fully owned, or were you the
Uh,
CEO of the couch?
it's secure. It's secured by a multi-sig.
I think it's a couch secured by the multi-stick.
That's correct.
That is awesome. That
And
is,
that
that's,
and that is what Holograph presents today on CCC. Kidding.
ladies and gentlemen, no. Do not step away from that claim. We're coming back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Future Proof with Holograph. Sorry. Whoa. Whew. Easy, everybody. Holograph. Okay. I just want to say thank you for such an awesome introduction. I also want to say thank you to the Cross Chain Coalition community of folks who continue to share the various Cross Chain Coalition projects and cross chain activity projects. We would not have been here without you. This space is blowing up. It is growing in spite of whatever else is happening in crypto. It is the fastest growing and most interesting space. And you're listening to one of the highest quality and most interesting shows with the best guests. Okay. And so I welcome Holograph. How is it going?
What up? What up? I'm Las Midas from the Holograph team. Really excited to be here. Thanks so much for hosting us on this awesome show.
Yeah. Absolutely
Appreciate it.
great to have you. Yeah. And of course we like to keep these shows highly technical and deep dives. And so we call you Lost Midas, correct?
That is correct.
All right. I love that name. I love that name. And I'm going to ask you to touch everything, every topic and every agenda we're going to touch here. I'm going to ask you to touch it and give us alpha. Is that okay? Is that too much? Is that
I'll
is that
uh,
over the
I'll do
edge?
my best.
You'll do your best. All right. Okay. So, what we're gonna do, everybody, just a quick agenda. We're gonna talk about holograph. What is holograph? How are they approaching bridging? Talk about the technical aspects, and get ready to talk about security guarantees. Lost Midas, because it's gonna be hot. And use cases, and really how. Of course, I always end this with how can we participate in the holograph community? Where do you guys need help? How can the cross chain community of members, jump into the project and just learn about it. So we're going to talk about that at the end. Now, okay, so let's talk about holograph. What is holograph? This is new. This is fresh. Talk to me.
Yeah, so Holograph provides multi-chain NFT infrastructure for the Web3 ecosystem.
A shining light, a beacon of hope. All right, so we're talking cross-chain NFTs here. How did this come about? Like, what was the journey that you said this thing must come to the world and it must give life?
Yeah, absolutely. So having been in the space for many, many years now, there's a problem, and the problem is fractured liquidity, right? So we have now hundreds of different blockchains, each with their own execution environments, each with their own liquidity. And these blockchains don't talk to one another. And fractured across these different blockchains are
Hmm.
non-fungible tokens.
Yep.
And there's really no good way presently or pre-holograph to
Yes.
move non-fungible tokens between these chains without violating the underlying non-fungible properties of the token, which I would define as the contract address and token ID, right? So when bridging a non-fungible token from one chain to another, it's typically
Yep.
locked on the source chain and then
Yep.
reminted on the destination chain. And the
Hell
reminting
yeah.
process
Hmm.
creates a different contract address and token ID, and that
Yeah.
muddies provenance, right? And the whole
Whoa, whoa,
point
whoa,
of
whoa,
a
whoa.
non-fungible
Slow,
token,
slow, slow. Whoa, whoa,
yeah, yeah.
whoa. Why does it muddy provenance? That's a powerful statement.
Well, it becomes difficult to trace the ownership if every time the NFT is bridged, a new contract address is associated with what is essentially a photocopy or a
Yeah.
derivative of
Mm.
the origin or the native token, right? So it's
Okay.
not natively composable, and that poses a bunch of problems for block explorers. Like, how do you follow provenance? So I actually own this thing? Is it a
Whoa, hold
derivative?
on, hold on. Before we go, you said another interesting statement. You said it does not help with native composability. Now, what is native composability with respect to this new copy? Why is native composability blocked when this new copy is minted with a different contract address on this target chain or destination chain?
Right. So currently, non-fungible tokens don't exist natively on multiple chains. So if I have an Ethereum NFT
Yeah,
and I attempt to move that to Avalanche or to
yeah,
Polygon,
yeah.
I get a wrapped version of that token. So when it's on the destination chain, not
Uh-huh.
the origin chain, the destination
Yeah,
chain,
yeah.
it is not native on that chain. It is a photocopied version of that token. And
Mm.
often data gets muddied. So let's say if there's state and
Yep,
or some sort of interesting metadata properties, they
yep.
don't carry over given the different contract address and token ID. It doesn't map to the native token. So
So you're
that's kind of
saying,
what we mean here.
yeah, so what you're saying is that as long as we have the same contract address but different target chain, we have resolved the native composability issues that we had before. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, correct. By
Mm,
enabling data to persist, contract address,
mm,
token ID,
mm,
and the utility data. So
mm.
if properly designed, if there's some sort of state or utility on top of those attributes, with Holograph, that remains persistent as it moves cross chain.
Got it. And so you're saying, that you guys are going to give this guarantee. Holograph gives this guarantee of this native composability and this maintenance of this metadata that if wherever that thing may go, so it goes from Ethereum to Polygon, and then it has to go from Polygon to Phantom, and then it has to go from Phantom to Avalanche. You're saying that it will still maintain, essentially the same contract address and the same metadata as it moved from chain to chain. Is that my understanding?
But essentially, exactly.
Okay. Oh, 97. Thank you. There you go. Exactly. And awesomeness. Now, why is no, okay, so now that we know the proposed solution, when we look at other solutions, they may not sort of focus on this. Why do you think folks don't focus on this particular aspect where you've determined that this is pretty important?
Right. Well, I wouldn't call those other solutions if it violates the non-fungible properties of the token. So
They're
you're
bad people. They're evil.
I wouldn't say bad people.
That's
It's
what I'm
just
just
not
teasing.
really it's not really a solution, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
certainly you can move a derivation, a wrapped version of the token around, and it
Right.
kind of
Right.
accomplishes and achieves some desirable goals, but it's not
Right.
the tokens aren't indigenous. And I think
Ah,
having a token that exists indigenously across multiple chains or exists as a single instance across multiple blockchains is a really powerful primitive that Holograph Protocol introduces to the Web3 ecosystem.
got it. Now, can they exist as an indigenous primitive at the same time, or must it be only on one chain at one particular time?
Only on one chain at one particular time. And this
Okay.
is by virtue of the holographic bridging process, which
Mhm.
burns the token on the source chain and then
Yep.
remints the same token on the destination chain. So
Oh my God! So you guys burn the token? Oh my
we burn the
God! You guys don't
token.
lock it.
Ah!
Oh my goodness! No, no. All you have to. Why didn't you just start and say, "All right, we're burning fucking tokens, bro. We're burning." Wow.
Well, look,
Okay.
I think burning gets a really bad rap, and with
Hey,
holograph, when
they
tokens
don't
move,
know. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so when tokens move between chains, the burn function is encoded in the bridge request. So user sends a bridge
Mm,
request on the source chain,
yeah.
and that is encoded within that bridge request, which calls the
Mm,
correlated code to call the
yes.
mint function. So
Yes.
essentially, the token can always be reminted as long as the underlying blockchain exists.
And if the underlying blockchain does not exist or hard forks, you're shit out of luck.
Well, that does pose some interesting issues,
Ah, but yeah, but let's hand wave it away. Yeah. It's okay.
but
Okay, good.
that that's a much greater issue that has
Yeah,
like
no problems. Yeah.
that
Okay,
needs
so
to
this
be
is
done.
exciting.
Yeah.
So you have brought back proof of burn. You have essentially said, Tarek, we are applying proof of burn to the transmission of NFTs across chain. And because you have proof of this burn on the source chain, this NFT is truly not only native, but provenance. Like there is no other. There
That is
cannot be a
correct.
security risk. There is no one who can hack our contract and try to unmint this burnt thing because we have sent it into the void on the source chain and we have given it new life on the target chain.
Yeah,
This is
right.
cool.
Talk about security guarantees.
I kind of just like you kind of get a bit. I was like, we were going to talk about security guarantees, but now I have to say that topic is now closed. So this is cool and very exciting. Tell us more about the progress. So where are you guys at in building out this particular approach to NFT transmission cross chain, and how are things going? I think it's awesome. So tell me more.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, it's been a remarkable journey so far. We have shipped our testnet beta version of the Holograph app, which
Yeah.
enables creators to create, deploy, mint,
Mm,
and bridge cross-chain
mm,
keys.
yeah.
And you can check that out by going to app.holograph.xyz. We've been
Yep.
live on testnets for several months now, and
Yep.
we have facilitated over, I believe, 60 to 70,000 transactions in the past
Yep.
few months alone.
Congrats. Congrats.
So traction is through the roof. Our community continues to grow
Hmm.
at a really wonderful pace, and we've received
Mm,
a ton of amazing feedback from the community that's helped to inform our roadmap.
yeah.
And we are looking to deploy across multiple mainnets in mid-December. So we are
Got it.
rapidly approaching a mainnet alpha deployment, which
Yeah.
we're incredibly excited about.
Now, quick question for you. How is the proof of burn? And forgive me, I say proof of burn, and I apologize because I'm dating myself. I was, I won't talk about my history, but I was there when the term was coined, and we won't talk about why. But this burning mechanism seems to me to be also something that anyone can replicate, right? Anyone can burn something by sending it to x 0000 x 0000. Now the question I have is when folks come to you and say, hey, we would like to preserve the genuineness and the preciousness of our NFT wherever it may go. Is it that really what they're coming to Holograph for is full cross, like full multi-chain support? So as long as you guys have a full every chain that you can possibly cover in your testnet, essentially you're the one-stop shop. You come once and they can essentially use, what do you guys have, an SDK, or how does this work?
Yes, yes. So we have a developer stack,
Yep.
modules, APIs, and SDKs for developers. We're working on
Yeah.
a number of libraries, which will make it very easy for developers to interact with the underlying
Right.
protocol. And
Got it.
so the API provides data for developers,
Yep.
an indexer, which
Yep.
enables the developers to understand where their NFTs are living. Also, from the user experience,
Ah.
we have built an indexer integrated within the app.
Whoa. Slow. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That you're like saying you're building Google for cross-chain NFTs in a weird sense, right? No,
Well,
no,
we kind of
and
had
NFTs
to.
have moved. Right,
We kind of
exactly,
had
because
to.
these things you have to track where these dogs are hunting. So tell us more about that. Like that's an interesting feature as well. Like what happened that you're like, shit, where does that NFT go? I don't know, bro. You burned it on ETH, it went on Polygon. I don't know, bro. It went to Phantom. Somebody, where's that NFT? Find it, get it.
Yeah.
Running
Well,
with my
look,
walkie-talkie.
the need for a multi-chain NFT indexer emerged out of a need to understand where to hunt the dogs, right? Where the
Right,
NFTs are at.
right,
And so we had to build that tool for ourselves
right,
internally, and then it so turns out that our users were requesting that feature as well.
right.
And a month later, we deployed a UI and an experience around that, which
Interesting.
is currently available
Interesting.
on our app. Yep.
Interesting. So if I were a hacker and I stole a few hundred million, not stole, I exploited a contract for a few hundred million. And I said, here's an NFT that will, on ETH that will unlock this, the funds. You buy it from me. Is it a use case that I can then transfer this NFT to Polygon? Because, say there's some, three-letter agency that says, every contract, with this particular address on Ethereum is banned because the exploited funds are here. And I say, shit, well, I'll just move this NFT over to Polygon. But if I'm on Polygon, I'm the same address, right? So is that a requirement that it maintains the same address? So I can't necessarily, have folks retrieve the NFT on Polygon to unlock the funds. It's just a very hypothetical, crazy sort of like, use case.
Yeah, well, I haven't thought that through extensively, but presumably the miners the validators would be the ones responsible for deny listing that particular address on that particular chain.
Right,
So
but what
theoretically,
you're saying, is I could move this to a chain where the validators do not blacklist that particular address,
theoretically,
correct?
yeah. Theoretically,
So
yeah.
so Tornado Cash could use this to help people move funds to settle on other chains if they wanted to, right? Like because that's the provenance is the proof of ownership of some claim, right? Which is the private key. So could
Correct.
somebody use it? So and we don't condone crime and we don't want anybody listening to do anything illegal. And if you are exploiting contracts, please do so in the kind white hat full disclosure way. But it seems to me this would be an interesting way to have people treasure hunt for tokens because they can move to any chain really and essentially disappear from the source chain, as it
Well,
were.
that's actually kind of an interesting use case, the treasure hunt. You could imagine
R R
a collection, uh, pirate PFP, where
R.
you have to
That's right. That's right.
travel different
Yeah.
sovereign zones and bring your
Yeah.
NFTs to different
Yeah.
ecosystems. And on those
Yeah.
ecosystems, there's different treasure that you can unlock with the utility
Right.
of your NFT. Just
Yeah.
thinking through some of the interesting use cases here,
I think it's
maybe a
awesome.
bit more fun than the criminal use case that you described. But
Hey, one man's pirate is another man's criminal. Okay. All right. So, you guys are a test bed.
correct.
Are there any? Are you guys able to speak to any partnerships or projects that you're working with that are really exciting for this particular use case and what you guys are building?
We have some incredible partnerships in the pipeline. I can't speak too much about that, but you
Okay.
can follow along on our Twitter,
Yep.
Holograph XYZ. We
Yep.
will be making announcements leading up to our mainnet alpha launch,
Mainnet.
which will
Yes.
include
Let's.
some
Whoa,
partnerships.
whoa, 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 whoa. Slow, slow. Let's talk about that alpha. So when is mainnet?
What is mainnet?
When
Oh,
on the
when? We're targeting mid December. So we've just had
mid-December?
mid-December. We
Yeah.
last month we facilitated a public audit through Code Arena, which
Yep.
was incredibly exciting. So the hacker community attacked our contracts. We're in the
Yes.
process of integrating that feedback and rounding out that the audit
Yeah.
into our product. And then
Yeah.
once we've finalized that, we will be deploying on mainnet in mid-December.
Um, and the next question is, so mainnet is mid-December, and are you doing an airdrop for the loyal community members and those who've contributed?
We have not made any official announcements about airdrops.
Great, great. So in order for folks to keep track of any possible official announcements, they should go where?
They should go to our Twitter, Holograph
Mm-hmm.
XYZ. They
Right,
can join our
right, right,
Discord community. We have a link
right,
tree within our Twitter where
right,
you can find out more about us on Discord. We have a
right.
very active Discord community. We're very
Mhm.
responsive to feedback and
Yep,
whatnot. I'm
yep.
probably missing some things here and there.
That's all right, but they
That's
should do that before mid-December. Mid-December is a
yes,
good time to get that done.
absolutely. And I
Right,
also
because
encourage people to use the app.
right before mid-December. That's right.
That would be advantageous.
That would be advantageous. Yeah, I'm going to use that. I think it's awesome. Now let's talk about how how do you uh, one of the problems we're learning about the NFT space and all this new cross-chain technology is that for folks for whom this would be amazing, say like like NFL on flow chain, for example, where hey, you can say, listen, you can have a trading card go from flow chain to Ethereum to Polygon, and it always will be that one one trading card from the NBA, for example, for a Top Shot. How do you communicate this value proposition to those types of folks for whom like this is like mind blowing, like they'll never even like see this coming? How does it work for you guys?
It's a no-brainer. Look, if
Mm,
I am an enterprise and I am looking, or a major ecosystem player, a
hmm
brand, a
hmm
marketplace, and I'm looking to enter the space, I have this dilemma, and the dilemma is, what chain do I deploy my contracts on, right?
mm,
So I have to pick favorites, and each blockchain has different security trade-offs and different consensus algorithms, et cetera, et cetera,
hmm
et cetera.
hmm
Not only that, building out multi-chain infrastructure is no easy task and requires specialized knowledge, which which our team has and we've achieved by virtue of shipping our product to mainnets and our
Sure,
test nets and soon mainnet.
sure.
So if I'm an enterprise, I have many months of deliberation around what chain to choose. With Holograph, we eliminate that cognitive overload and simply say, look, you have a strategy. Why not deploy your contracts across all blockchains? Why not have your NFTs live seamlessly between all blockchains? And why silo yourself onto a particular network when you can unlock liquidity and trading across all networks? And that is a tremendous value proposition that helps customers because it reduces the amount of time of internal deliberation that those enterprises need to make to pick a particular chain. Well, they don't have to pick a particular chain. So it reduces friction from a decision making standpoint.
Mm.
And the technology we've built also reduces the technical overload of what they would need to build and implement themselves to enable that cross chain composability.
So don't worry about what chain to pick, just pick Holograph and you'll be on every chain. There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's
pick them
awesome.
all.
All
Yeah.
right, pick them all. Got to pick them all. Okay, 2023 is coming. What's the one thing you guys want to achieve besides mainnet in 2023?
Right, right. So next year, 2023 is all about use cases, partnership integrations, and really proving out in the market the technology that we've built.
Right.
So we've got some really, really exciting projects that will showcase the unique properties of Holograph Protocol and introduce
hmm
brand new use cases to the space,
hmm
new novel mechanisms that we're incredibly excited to share that
hmm
are unlocked by virtue of the holographic bridging process.
And let's come back to one of the things you talked previously about, which was the indexer. And I jumped a little bit too quickly from there because, again, it seems to me that this indexer will now be important, right? Like, where is my chain? What is the state of your indexer? Like, how far have you guys come along? Is there a front end to this? Like, what is the state of that particular aspect of your project?
Yeah, it's a pretty robust technology as of right now, and you can see it on app.holograph.xyz. So you can deploy your contracts, mint your NFTs, and move them around. And we have a status or a beam status page, and we call when moving NFTs between chains, beaming them.
Yeah,
Kind of a Star Trek reference there. But
nice.
if you check out the beam status page, you'll see that it contains information about the name of the NFT, its associated
Mm,
collection,
mm,
the source chain transaction, the
right,
messaging layer, the destination chain transaction. Which, if you click on those texts, it links out to the associated block explorer, in addition to
right.
a status of where the NFT is living. So the UI is there and available for everyone to check out. And it's an exciting piece of technology that will be incredibly helpful for those using the app interface, but also developers building multi-chain NFT applications.
Don't wrap, burn. There you go.
Reciprocal burn and mint. That is the way.
Reciprocal burn and mint. I love it. This is awesome. All right. Well, we are up on time. We know how to get in touch. We know how to, we know that there's a deadline, mid-December. We should be using your app because, you guys you will be supporting the community. We don't know how, but to be part of the announcements, folks should be part of that. And Holograph will continue to build out these use cases so that folks can deploy their NFT once and those NFTs live everywhere. I think that's awesome. Congratulations to you and team. And we hope to see you guys again on the Cross Chain Coalition.
Awesome, Turi. Thank you so much for hosting us. Really appreciate it. Awesome to be
Copy
here.
that. Awesome to have you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember to keep that couch safe, right? That $10 billion couch.
Right, right.
All right.
All right.
And with
Take care.
that, we take care. We will cue the music.